Let's talk about 3 things to consider when you're creating your plan for your postpartum or your postnatal journey. First, creating your sanctuary or your safe space. Who or what do you want to have around you after you give birth? Second is nourishment. How are you going to nourish yourself adequately after giving birth? And finally, perinatal mood and anxiety disorders. What do you need to consider and where can you get help if you need it? Creating a postpartum sanctuary. When thinking about the first days, weeks, and even month into your new parenthood journey, think about how you can create a postpartum sanctuary or bubble to help you transition into your new role as a parent or a mother, where you can peacefully bond with your baby and your partner. Consider who your visitors will be. Who do you want to come in the first days, weeks, and month after giving birth? Having visitors can be really helpful for the companionship, but it can disturb the peace in the sanctuary that you created. Consider rest. Resting is really important for recovery. What does rest look like for you? How are you going to ensure that you have the space and the time to rest? What do you need to be able to rest? How are you going to unplug from technology? Nourishment is really important for proper postpartum recovery. How can you ensure that you receive nourishing foods? Do you need to set up a meal train or ask people to prepare healthy snacks and meals for you? Consider companionship. Who can you rely on when you need someone to talk to? Who can you reach out to for non-judgmental advice? Ensuring that you're not lonely is really important for the transition into parenthood or motherhood. Think about your wider range of support too. Consider breastfeeding counselors or consultants if you need help with breastfeeding. Would a postpartum doula be helpful to you? Do you have your cramps work set up? Have you looked into pelvic floor therapy or acupuncture or massage? Your midwife and gynecologist can also support you within the first 6 weeks after giving birth. When you need to connect with other moms, think about a breastfeeding support group or a play group. Finally, when thinking about your postpartum sanctuary, think about what brings you joy. Is it listening to music, reading some inspirational words, playing music or singing, talking with a good friend? Consider ways that you can incorporate things that bring you joy into your daily life, because not only your body needs to be nourished, but your soul needs to be nourished too. Let's talk nourishment. We're going to focus on calorie and macronutrient requirements. While you're breastfeeding or chest feeding, you're going to need an extra 500 calories a day. That's even more than at the end of your pregnancy. Protein is still really important during the postpartum period. You'll need about 75 grams of protein a day. You'll need 210 grams of carbohydrates a day. That's even more than you needed at the end of your pregnancy. It takes a lot of energy to heal after giving birth and to create breast milk. So make sure you eat those fruits and veggies and whole grains, especially because they contain fiber. And fiber is necessary to prevent hemorrhoids, which can happen after giving birth. Make sure you also drink plenty of water to support your milk supply. But don't force it. Just drink when you're thirsty and eat a healthy, balanced snack when you're hungry. Listen to your body. Make sure you're getting warm, nourishing foods. Drinking things like bone broths or nice, warm, hearty soups can be very comforting and soothing in your postpartum period. Now for a bit on mental health in the postpartum period. Once your baby is born, there are a lot of changes in your hormone levels that happen in a very short amount of time. This can lead to some roller coaster emotions in the first few weeks after giving birth. You might feel completely elated at one moment and then start crying and feeling really weepy at the next moment. This is called the baby blues, and it's normal. Be really kind and gentle with yourself during this time. It's okay to feel all the feelings. When the baby blues persist beyond the first few weeks after giving birth, it could be postpartum depression. Although postpartum depression can show up anytime within the first year after giving birth, although it's only screened for after the first 6 weeks after giving birth. So it's missed a lot. Complications during your birth, having a history of anxiety or depression, or having a lack of support are all risk factors for developing postpartum depression. So I'm talking to you expats. So many of us have no family around. So make a plan now to make sure that you have enough support around you when you need it after giving birth. Postpartum anxiety seems to kind of slip through the cracks in diagnosis, or it just gets lobbed into postpartum depression. But debilitating anxiety can exist without the low mood of depression. The mother or birthing person's brain goes through a lot of changes during pregnancy and birth to make sure that they are in tune with their young infant's needs. A new parent should have some worries about their new role and their new child. This is a good protective thing for the baby. It's really when that worrying gets really out of control, when you can't leave the house because you're too worried about the world affecting your baby, or you're too worried about putting your baby down in a crib because you're worried about suffocation. When you can't enjoy your new role as a parent and you can't enjoy your new infant for fear and anxiety, this is when we are concerned. This is when you need help. Something that can accompany the disturbing thoughts of anxiety are compulsions to do something over and over again, like cleaning something or checking on baby over and over and over again. This is called postpartum obsessive compulsive disorder, or OCD. The last perinatal mood disorder that I want to touch on is postpartum psychosis, which is one of the most severe disorders. Someone with postpartum psychosis might be experiencing hallucinations, which is something that they see, hear, or feel that doesn't actually exist. This one is pretty rare, and it comes on pretty suddenly within the first couple of weeks after giving birth. This requires immediate medical attention. The parent experiencing postpartum psychosis has a higher risk of hurting themselves or their baby. Where can you find help? Your midwife or gynecologist is a good place to start. You can also reach out to your GP or the GGD when you take your baby in. These are great places to begin the conversation, to ask for help. You could even begin the conversation now with your midwife or gynecologist or your GP if you feel like you're at risk for developing a perinatal mood and anxiety disorder. If you feel like you're having suicidal thoughts or you feel like you might hurt your baby now or even after giving birth, please call 113, which is the Netherlands Suicide Hotline. Someone will always answer the phone and they are there to help you. Would you like some help putting together your postpartum plan? Reach out to me now for a free consultation. I'm here to support you and help you enter parenthood with confidence.